Team Awesome, what's up? Happy Thursday. I'm so glad to be live back on here on Facebook. It's been a while since we've done this together, so I'm so excited for those of you that are going to join me here in a minute, and especially for those of you that'll take time out of your day later to give this a watch and a listen. My goal with going live right now is to share a little bit more about some of the change and transformation, both physically, mentally, emotionally, that I've undergone over the past year or so, and how that process led me to this exact moment. All of us at some point in our life have probably experienced what we might refer to as rock bottom. It might involve the passing away of a loved one. Lots of people hit their rock bottom during COVID. For some, the transition back to some of our normalcy brought on new challenges and stressors. And I have loved ones in my life now that are probably going through their rock bottom as we speak. So hitting that point isn't unique or special to any one of us. It's a place any of us could find ourselves at a given point in time in our life. And I found myself at my rock bottom about a year and a half ago. So my message today is telling the story of what that rock bottom was and the one decision I made that helped me dig myself out of that place. Many of you know my background. In terms of my childhood and the unfortunate trauma and abuse that I experienced. So my message today doesn't focus on that, but it piggybacks on the side effects of living as an adult survivor of abuse that happened in my childhood. A year and a half ago, Georgia, my youngest, was a little over a year old. For reference, I gained quite a bit of weight with both girls, just like my mom did. Georgia sat low the entire pregnancy, and when she was born, she came out at 10 pounds, 2.8 ounces, and she cracked my pelvis. So on top of the normal recovery that one can expect with having given birth to a baby, let alone a large baby, having that crack in my pelvis set me back on my physical comeback for a solid 6 to 9 months. It was excruciatingly painful to sit down, to walk, and for someone who prior to having kids did CrossFit, actively worked out at least 5 days a week, it was devastating to me to not be able to move my body the way I wanted to, especially when I already felt so lost and disgusting in my own skin. So it triggered a lot of old body image issues that I've carried forward since my childhood. At the same time, one of my friends, Courtney, who also was an ag teacher, and we've known each other since our days in FFA together, I saw her from afar based on her posts on social media and getting to touch base occasionally in person. But I saw her from afar posting pretty regularly about her workout routine, some of the healthy choices that she was making. And although she denies it to this day, in my opinion, I saw her bounce back so much faster than I certainly did, and then a lot of people that I know bounced back after having children. And I wanted that for myself. But no matter how many times she reached out to me, and even sometimes I would ask her questions before I was ready to actually go all in on myself, regardless of those times, it took me getting to the real rock bottom before I'd be able to choose me. So I'm carrying all this extra weight, feeling horrible in my own skin, and then in comes COVID. My life was turned upside down like everyone else's on the planet. But in that very short time of when our first lockdown happened, my husband's grandfather had been in an assisted living facility for a couple of years by that point. To make a very long story short, due to some health complications and his personal frame of mind and decision, he took his own life that first summer. It was July of 2020. As an adult survivor of child sexual abuse, it's not shocking to any of you for me to probably say that at a few points in my life, I have had suicidal ideations, not because I wanted to harm myself or actually take my own life. I just wanted the abuse to stop. So part of me understood his decision. The other part of me was devastated that someone I was so close to, who was my biggest cheerleader in all of my big life dreams, he would be so proud of me right now. But for that person to be the one that I know that completed their attempt, it shook me to my core. I've never knowingly experienced anxiety before. After losing my husband's grandfather, I began having what I now know to be panic attacks. And they got so severe that I started having flashbacks to my earlier abuse from my childhood. And those were so jarring and felt so real in real time that I would oftentimes go numb, black out, and collapse on the floor. This went on for months. At the worst point, I went 2 weeks without sleeping. I might have had like a 1 hour power nap per night. But that was it. I felt horrible. It felt like my mind was constantly exploding. I was battling between my reality as a wife and a mom and a daughter and a teacher, and trying to navigate COVID and deal with the loss and the mourning and the confusion, and just not feeling right in myself, not feeling right in my place in the world. I've never felt so low as I did a year and a half ago. To be honest, in my worst panic attacks, it truly felt not just because of the anxiety, but because of the regularity of that cycle of going through panic attacks and being triggered by the flashbacks that felt like they were happening in real time. I felt like I was dying. Some people knew about that, my close, intimate circle. Some people knew parts of what was going on, but not the whole picture. And I felt very, very alone. And it felt like after everything else I've already been through, after everything else I've already transcended and worked my way past, it felt like this was going to be too hard. A very long story short, there wasn't any significant day or happening. I just got to a point where I wanted more. And there was something about the feeling that made me know I had to try this one last time because I didn't have any other option. So I reached out to my friend Courtney and I said, look, I've got to do something. Show me what you're doing. I want to do exactly what you're doing. I want to feel right in my skin again. And so she helped me. I started doing the same at-home workouts she was doing. We started talking about nutrition. I slowly started to make choices that aligned with what I wanted for myself, which was mental health, wellness, physical safety and physical strength, and being able to be present with my kids and to enjoy time playing instead of thinking about how my belly jiggles when I'm crawling on the floor and them poking my tummy and all of those very silly things. The one decision that I made to choose myself, to bring myself back into a physical fitness and wellness space, is the single greatest decision that I probably ever made. And here's why. Because of that decision, it brought me to a community of people that for some reason instantaneously have become some of my walking warriors in life, dear friends, mentors, individuals that lift me and elevate me and celebrate my progress, who challenge me in moments when they know that I'm capable of more, and who dream with me, who support me in my dreams, and who allow me to be a part of theirs. That sense of community, working with other people through their challenges, allowing them to step into a role of leadership in helping me along my journey, it made all the difference. It helped me trust myself again. And if I could trust myself, that meant that I could be trustworthy. And so as I started doing the real work on the inside again, slowly, more slowly than I would have liked, the results started to show up on the outside. Funny thing is though, and I'll back up, I'm pretty gosh darn proud right now. I'll tell you, today I weigh 210 pounds. I'm 5'11". I'm heavier now than the last time that I thought I was in really, really good shape and I finally got back down to 199. I look better now because I've built muscle and because the work that I have done, I did it. It wasn't a quick fix. It wasn't a pill I swallowed. It wasn't a supplement. It was real work. It was learning about my body, studying nutrition options, experimenting with different types of meal plans, and honestly, just moving my body. Because I did the work, my brain literally knows that it can trust me in my decisions, and it knows that no matter what challenge or obstacle might come our way, we are always going to make it to the other side. And so because of that, I now realize that, unbeknownst to me, I've been motivating people along the way. Because when you see someone else stepping into their own greatness, when their light starts shining the way that I know my light is shining right now, we give others permission to do the same thing for themselves. And so this past year, I was so excited to go back to school, to have my kids in my classroom again, to go to all of the events and the rallies and assemblies and FFA competitions. I had no idea or intention prior to this year starting that it would be my last. But I also wouldn't have changed anything. I wouldn't have changed my mind or the order of events. And were it not for my decision to go all in on myself, to choose to start moving my body again, to partner with people who believe in the truth behind that process, who believe in living and leading with your purpose on purpose. Had it not been for that decision, I wouldn't have had the exit strategy that I needed when I realized that my time in the classroom needed to come to an end so that my time for my other dreams and aspirations could finally take flight. So today I'm proud to say I am a health and fitness coach. I'm not a nutritionist, I'm not a dietitian, I'm not a certified personal trainer, but you better believe I'm a coach. Because I'm a coach and I make my own schedule, I get to show up in life professionally and personally when I want, how I want, for who I want to. And that is the greatest type of freedom. I can be a mom how and when I want to be a mom without needing to rely on other people to cover a class period, to get me sub coverage. I can just show up and be there. And I can volunteer and participate actively. I can be engaged in my own personal life. My relationship with my husband is probably better than it's ever been. He hasn't changed. He's the same amazing person that he's always been. I changed in really, really big ways, and mostly on the inside. So for those of you that are still here listening, thank you. I love you from the depths of my soul. I appreciate you giving my words a place to land as always. And so here's my takeaway for you today. If today you are at your rock bottom, or if you are afraid that you might be getting to your rock bottom soon, reach out, give me some type of sign, let me show up for you. Not in any official capacity, but just let me show up. Let me show you that at least one person is here, and I remember what that feeling feels like. When you're ready, I've got a whole slew of solutions that I know will help you step into your own light, will help you refocus your laser attention on your dreams, on becoming your greatest self. Because our rock bottom, it should be a data point, not a destination. Onwards and upwards, my friends. Love ya.